Boom, people, welcome back to the show. In this episode, I'm going to talk about how I approach events and what I've gotten out of spending over $120,000 on events, masterminds, and coaching groups. Over the last few years, I've gone to Fun Launch Live, Tony Robbins, Silicon Slopes. I've done 10X GrowthCon, Offer Lab, the whole gambit. I travel to numerous events around the world and country. I'm in multiple masterminds. One right now is $30,000. The other one's $20,000. There've been other masterminds that are $7,000 or $15,000. I actively pay for coaching. In this video, we're gonna go through my ins and outs and how I get the most out of these type of events. Now, before we get going, this video is actually sponsored by me. I'm sponsoring this video because some of you may know, we are hosting the biggest, baddest event of 2022. The #1 fund manager conference in the world is happening. Fun Launch Live. You know what? Just hit to the B-roll. Anyone is capable of success. See, the reason you're here right now isn't because you're unsuccessful. Everyone that comes to a conference like this has already had success in their life. So that's not the reason. The reason you're here is because you're hungry for more. Because there's someone on this planet working across the world to beat you right now. And people like us, we're just not gonna let that happen. Welcome to Vegas, baby. People like us love the game. We love the blood, the sweat, the tears, the competition drives us. And that's why you're here. Everything we do here is to get you one step ahead. This is the way you beat competition next door, down the street, across the country, and across the world. Starting a fund is the only business model that has been proven time and time again throughout history. People overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in a decade. Wall Street has been hiding this information for decades. And now it's not a secret anymore. It's not reserved for the private elite. It's a question for you and for me of do or do not. So the question for you is, what are you gonna do? So boom, bada bing, there you have it, sponsored by me. If you wanna come to the event, click grab tickets below. We are almost sold out of VIP. I think we only have a few left. We're probably gonna be done today with VIP. We have general admission left, over 1,000 fund managers all in one place. It's gonna be incredible. We have fund managers coming that manage billion-dollar funds. We have crypto fund managers. We have hedge fund, real estate, all sorts of fund managers coming to speak and share their insights about the fund world. Now, that being said, let's go through the ins and outs of events. Number one, I want to share what I like about events, what I hate about events. And number two, the second piece, I want to share how to get the most out of events. I've actually met incredible business partners, connections, gotten on podcast shows, made business relationships all from events. Because there's something magical about immersing deep in something. Steven Schwartzman, the co-founder of Blackstone, one of the largest funds in the world, they manage over $300 billion, in his book, said he started to take Chinese lessons. And he took a Chinese lesson for an hour a week for an entire year. And with vacation and travel, it ended up being about 40 to 45 hours that he spent in Chinese lessons, one a week for the entire year. And at the end of the year, he was pretty disappointed about where his Chinese was at. He felt like he didn't progress much. But then he realized he'd only spent about 40 hours, which is a working man's or woman's week. And some kid that flew to Taiwan or China in 1 week got the same amount of exposure that he got over a year to the Chinese language. There is so much power in being immersed in a certain topic or line of thought for multiple days in a row, where you come out of that event or process with huge breakthroughs. Gary Vee is a great example. VeeFriends, if you guys have heard of VeeFriends, made $60 million on their initial NFT drop, was all created in about 1 day. He flew his whole team out to a beach house. They sat down, and over about a day, day and a half, they created all of VeeFriends, all the marketing around it, the whole thing. Most businesses that are created and put together are put together in about a day or two. Now, the execution takes a little bit of time, but actually the thought process really comes together, and a lot of times over a short period of time. This is why I absolutely love events. You get immersed in a topic for multiple days in a row. So back to the beginning, let me talk you through my do's and don'ts of events. One of the biggest things events need is emotion. Because a lot of us, think back to 6th or 7th grade, you probably don't remember much of what your teachers taught you. However, you probably remember that boy or girl that broke your heart or that you had a crush on or that you wanted to hang out with. Why? Because there's emotion attached to that event in your life. The reason we learn from mistakes so well is because there's a lot of emotion around mistakes. It hurts really bad to fail, and it maybe hurt us financially, or we lost a relationship, or whatever it was. We attach emotion to that, and all of a sudden we never make that mistake again. Events that can attach emotion to what's being taught will help the people leave that event changing their lives. That's why people love to go to Tony Robbins events. Yeah, he teaches you a lot of stuff, but also he makes you emotionally invested into every topic and conversation they're having at his events. Now, the second piece of this is tied to emotion, but it's energy of the room. Something that I'm very conscious of is the energy a speaker brings to the stage. And we actually, as an event coordinator, will coordinate high energy and low energy speakers back and forth from each other, both giving valuable content, but to give the listener a type of roller coaster experience that keeps them awake, alert, and engaged, and again, attaching emotion to what they learn. And if you go deeper as a speaker, if I speak, I try to do the same thing. Throughout my talk, I'll give a ton of energy. I'll be very excited. We'll have this crazy experience. And then I'll talk really slow. And I'll tell you about a time that really hurt and something that went deep. And I just didn't know if I was going to make it. And it pulled a tear to my eye. And then I overcame, and I'll come back through and I try to give my audience this roller coaster experience again to create that emotion and engagement inside of them. Yes, there's a lot of ins and outs I could go through event of planning, but if an event can do that, if it can pull emotion to an audience, that's a successful event in my book. And even going closer, in a successful speaker. People don't remember what you taught them. They remember how they feel while you were up there, while you're speaking, and how they feel when they left. Now, let's go on to the next piece. How I get the most out of my events as an attendee. When I go to a lot of these events that I travel around the world and go to, I love, again, going to these events. What do I do to make sure I get a lot out of these events? Number one is come with confidence. This is the biggest mistake that I see people make when they show up to events. A lot of people, and it's just human nature. They show up to a big event or a place or a mastermind group, and the natural reaction is to kind of sit back, grab a drink, sit in the corner. You don't want to rock the boat. You're going to feel the room out and see how everyone's feeling. And oftentimes it's very scary to approach other people and meet others at these events. Literally what you need to do, and I've done this before, I'll sit in my room or hotel room, wherever I'm at before the event. And I look at myself in the mirror and I go, Bridger, everyone that came to this event came for a reason to meet other people in this group and community. There are things that you have that can really benefit their lives. And secondly, everyone is probably just as nervous as you are. Everyone's a little scared to go mingle and just dive right into a brand new conversation. So if everyone else is scared and I'm scared, then we can all just hang out together. It's not a big deal. No one goes to an event and goes, man, I just hope I don't meet anybody this weekend of value to me. That would be just terrible. People go to these types of things to meet others, to give advice, to benefit, to make connections, whatever they're looking for, they do that. So the biggest thing you can do is come with confidence. And the other part of it is half these people you're never going to see again. So it's okay if you make some mistakes, challenge yourself a little bit, treat it like a game. It's actually a pretty fun game to play. Number 2 on my advice in attending an event is come with something to offer. This makes it so much easier to converse and meet other people. If you show up to a conversation and have something to potentially offer this person as a benefit to them, you're way more likely to make connections that go beyond just meeting this person for 5 minutes. A great example is having a podcast. 95% of people will say yes to being on your podcast. So if you have a podcast and you're meeting somebody that's kind of interesting, you go, hey, you know what? I actually have a podcast. I'd love to interview you as a guest. Most people love to give advice. They like to be interviewed. It increases their status, and they'll say, oh, of course, here's my business card, or let's exchange phone numbers. I'd love to be on your show. You gave them a huge value proposition. Another one in our fund specific community, and at Fund Launch Live, this would be very prominent, people that coming with deals. Hey, I have a big deal out of Colorado. We're doing 200 units. Or I have money and investors that want to invest in deals. Maybe I can make the connection. Now, I won't offer that to every person I meet, but sometimes I'll bring it up in conversation to plant seeds in other people's heads that, yes, hey, if you have a good deal, I've got investors that would love to look at it. Or vice versa. Hey, I've got a good deal. If you ever want to partner on something, I maybe could bring you in. This would be kind of cool to do together. This can go more specific to you and your company, what you have to offer. And again, offering with no expect of anything in return. Come giving value, not asking for something right after. Really give value. Give someone value to their life and be willing to partner and share and collaborate with others around you. So number 1 was come with confidence. Number 2, have something to give value to others. And number 3 is follow up. It sounds simple, it sounds basic, but people that are very successful, that are high end or have huge followings or a lot of money, if they give you a chance to say, yeah, let's get together, let's go to lunch, let's hop on a podcast, let's follow up, let's hop on a Zoom call, they're only gonna give you that opportunity one time. If they give you the chance, try to get it on a schedule right then or follow up with them, or make sure right after the event to follow up and keep a good coordinated effort to make sure that meeting actually happens. I even like to keep a little list on my phone of people I've met, who they are. I like to put descriptions of their name when I save their contact in my phone of how I met them, who they are, where they're at, so that I can accurately follow up with them. And if they give me a call out of the blue and Joe Smith is calling me, I can see his little tagline, oh, Joe runs a property development company out of Canada. We talked about X, Y, and Z. So I get on the phone with him and we feel like best friends. So there you have it. Some of my tips for hosting and throwing an event, and also tips for attending an event. Again, this video is sponsored by Fund Launch Live. Grab your tickets below. We'd love to see you guys in April 28th, 29th, and 30th Fund Manager Conference. It's going to be incredible. Hit the link below. See you guys there. Bye.